Welcome back to Celebrity Radio. It's Alex Belfield backstage at the Derby Assembly Rooms with a huge star, a man who I've admired for many, many years, Ceri Dupree. How are you?
I'm very good. How are you?
Hey, listen, I'm delicious, and it's all the better for seeing you. I've just seen this mammoth 2.5-hour production, which is all about you getting in and out of costume and becoming these characters. I first saw you in pantomime. Firstly, you are the greatest dame in Britain. Congratulations on that.
Thank you. I don't know about the greatest dame in Britain, maybe the most glamorous one.
You are the greatest, and I'll tell you why. I've never been so visually appealed to a dame. I mean, you put a ton of effort into this, don't you?
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm a big believer in, as Mae West said it first, if it's worth doing, it's worth overdoing, and sort of Liberace said, too much of a good thing can be wonderful. I'm a big believer in all that,
You hark back to a better time of show business when people put money into their act and polished it and then polished it again and then looked back over it and kept polishing. I mean, there's so much goes into it on many levels, isn't there?
Well, yeah. I mean, if I sound a bit funny, folks, it's because I'm still taking makeup off here as Alex is chatting to me. Okay,
it's a bit strange, isn't it?
It is a bit strange, yeah. Even though I do finish my show as myself in a suit, I still don't have all the makeup off because I have to take it off so quickly. So that's why maybe if you hear rustling, it's a towel, me taking my makeup off. And I forgot what the question was now. Oh, yes, show business. Yes, I do. Well, I suppose, yeah. But I'm a big believer in, that the sort of old-fashioned side of show business is going. So many comics sort of just turn up, in a T-shirt and a pair of jeans, and on they go, which is nothing wrong with that, I suppose. But I like to go and see something that's a bit of escapism, Me and Shirley Bassey's fabulous costumes. Even Ken Dodd wears bright suits, and even Roy Chubby Brown wears a suit and a flying helmet, and it's an image, They don't have any images now, really. Do you know what I mean? They just come on in a suit or no one seems to be. Anyway, waffle. No,
I know what you mean. In the old days, you had an act and you went on stage and did it. Now it's as if you're listening to your mate in the pub, isn't it?
Yeah, except that you're not in the pub. You're in a 5,000-seater arena, and you end up paying X amount, and you're watching you might as well watch a DVD because the place is so big. It's gone. All that thing has lost. All the variety, light entertainment. The sort of atmosphere that you could reach out and play to an audience.
What I love about your act as well, Jim Davidson said this to me once, that one of the things he found most disappointing about his career was that he could do the R18 stuff in front of audiences in Doncaster on a Monday and then turn up in Panto on the Friday and be family friendly. You're exactly that, aren't you?
Well, yes. I mean, if you're doing pantomime, you're not going to be rude or blue at all in pantomime. It's the same as if you're doing a rugby club in Leeds or something. Your act's going to be different unless you're doing a bar mitzvah at the Dorchester or something, or a private function, or you're doing something for the ladies who lunch in Mayfair, or you might be doing a ladies' night in Grimsby. It's going to be completely different. You play to your audience. I'll know how far I can go. I mean, sometimes you tell a gag and people recoil in horror. They go, and you think, oh, shouldn't have said that. Move on. You know what I mean? Or sometimes you'll do a gag, nobody will laugh. Move on. That's experience you get used to. Years and years ago, nobody laughed. I went to pieces. What's wrong with me? Everyone hates me. Da, 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 da. But it's like tonight's audience was different to last night. My sound guy came in and said, I can't believe it. He said, they didn't laugh at all those things at Zsa Zsa Gabor they laughed at last night, but they laughed at all the ones that are not funny. I said, yeah, you think they're not funny, but they thought they were funny, and what we think funny, they didn't think was funny. But it could be different tomorrow night in Watford, completely different, and it'll be different on Friday in wherever we are Friday, Durham.
Right. And that's the key to your act, isn't it? That you've got in your brain 15 different shows ready to go. Then I asked, where do you do that? Where do you learn it? How do you come up with all this stuff? Because there must be a million gags in your head.
Well, yeah, there is. And, and this is sometimes where the show is long, I mean, it's not as long as Ken Dodd's, but the first half of my show is an hour and a half, and the second half of my show is an hour and 15, the 20-minute interval. So it's over 3 hours in length. And it's because you keep going and they're laughing, so you keep going. Or they're not laughing, so you keep going until you find a gag they do laugh at, and either can take time. The thing is, I'm onto a no-win situation. If they keep laughing, I keep going. If they don't laugh, I still keep going until they do laugh.
You just like to keep going.
Yeah, well, I do, yeah, I suppose. And then you think, right, got 'em, so I don't know.
What's great about you as well is the admiration within the business. I was on the phone earlier today to Pasquale, who you're doing pantomime again with this year in Northampton. I saw you in Nottingham last year. You were somewhere else. He won't work with anyone else. He thinks you're the best in the business. Is it great to have that sort of affirmation?
Yes, it is. I mean, I've worked with him now for the last 5 years, and I've got to know him as a mate. And when we first met, we were wary of each other, but people are like that. You are wary of other people and this, that, the other. And, I come along, this great big glamorous dame wearing these fabulous costumes, and he thought, hello. And then I saw him and I thought, hello, Mr. Squeaky and this, that, the other. But we got on so well, and that we just got on really well. And there's no, well, we don't even say to each other, look, do you mind if I do this? Do you not mind if I do that? Oh, sorry about doing that. Did I, none of that. We just go. We just do it.
And again, what you do have in common is your love of the business. He's like you. He loved variety,
yes.
And fights for it today.
Yes, he does. And he, one of his heroes was Bob Monkhouse, who I absolutely loved as well. He was a great stand-up, and he loves all the sort of stuff that I love, and lots of people do. The Brian Connolly, he's the same. There's that sort of era of people, and I don't know. People just say sometimes they go, oh, well, it's a bit old-fashioned. Well, it's not. It'll either get a laugh or it won't. And if something's funny, it's entertaining. It doesn't matter whether it was a gag that was done 300 years ago, or a gag that was told today. If it gets a laugh, that's the main thing.
And the one thing you come away with after this 2.5 hours is the effort. I mean, it's blatantly obvious as we stand here in your dressing room, there's a ton of work goes into this. How long does it take, I presume a career, to get this show as good as it is?
This particular show has got 16 costume changes in it, and it's picking which women to do, This time we sort of gave the show a title, Fit for a Queen. The first half of the show is, as you saw tonight, from women from all over the world, from, Brazil, guess who that one is, and Iceland and Hungary and South Africa and America, and Greece and Australia and everything. And then the second half then, it's the good old red, white and blue. It's all British, the best of British. It could be Diana Dawes, or it could be Amy Winehouse, or Barbara Cartland or Mrs. Thatcher, Joan Collins, all the British ladies,
Do you need a psychologist? There was a point where I was watching you doing Dame Edna, ad-libbing as yourself, ad-libbing as Dame Edna. I mean, by the time we got to the fourth person, the gags were coming out and they just loved it. It must be strange being you sometimes, because you're in character, but you're still thinking as yourself, aren't you?
Although you're doing, say, Edna, you're still thinking, there's a man there on the second row not laughing. I will make him laugh if it kills me, You're still thinking that, or there's a woman at the back she's not sure about. She's been dragged here by her friends. They saw me before. They know what to expect. She's dying. So I'll make her laugh. I'll make her feel relaxed now. What's your name? Oh, Tracy. Okay, boom, 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 boom. But you're doing it as Edna, but you're thinking, I always say this, I've said this so many times, a performer, I think, a manic performer anyway, looks like a sort of swan on the surface, cool, calm, but underneath your feet are going 10 to the dozen, because you're thinking, and especially with my show, because I'm not on in one suit for an hour and a half, I'm thinking, right, next I have to take all this off, everything, jewellery, shoes, change tights, pants, God knows what, and get into Mrs. Thatcher. Then I have to get out of Mrs. Thatcher. And then not only do I have a costume change, I have a makeup change, for Barbara Cartland. And they're watching me do the makeup. When you're being watched by an audience, you can't go too fast, they don't know what's happening, because I can put stuff on my face quickly, but they do it slowly so they can see you're putting eyelashes on. What are you peeling off the side of your face? What's that? Why are you gluing a wig on? Is that glue you're putting on? 101 different things. You can't sling things at your dresser, because if you throw a handbag through the air, no one sees what it is. You have to pass it slowly. It's a handbag. These are a pair of boobs. So I do that 16 times. I strip and dress 16 times. You have to concentrate no matter how much you've done it. And even though you probably see in the dressing room, it's like a military operation. You come in and these one-nighters are killers. I mean, all right, we've been here 2 nights. Some nights we do 3, some nights we do 5. But the majority of the gigs are one-nighters, which means, and you can't choose, you can't go, let's work our way down to Leeds, Sheffield. No, gone, I'm afraid. Your Leeds one night, Bournemouth the next, Sheffield the night after. Back to Torquay, up to blimmin' Aberdeen. That's it.
No one said it was going to be easy. Very finally, what I love about your show is similar to what Penn and Teller do in Las Vegas, where at the end of the show, they get rid of all the set and the scenery and they show you how it's done. And that's what you do. How you get from one character to the next is so beautiful and a great bit of staging. You don't get to see that in pantomime because it's seamless. I therefore wonder how exhausted you are doing that twice a day behind the scenes. Probably 15 costumes, is it, in pantomime? Yes, times 2, that's 16, 30. Times 90 performances?
Yeah. Well, you see, pantomime for me is not, I don't find it hard. I've said this a few times. I don't find it, compared to what I do for the rest of the year, this is the killer. The one-man show, because although I've got a team of 5 behind me, it's me on the stage for 2.5 hours, and I am carrying every single bit of the show. I am carrying all the costumes, all the characters, all the gags, all the everything. Although, so if it's something that doesn't get a laugh, everything is my fault, whereas in an ensemble, you might have 8, 9, 10 other people around you. If I do a musical or something, or a comedy piece or whatever, you've got other people in the show, So, even if you've got you're doing maybe a casino or something, and you have dancers with you and a couple of support acts, you can chill a little bit. But this is like you start, boom. Even in the interval, I'm boiling hot in the interval, I'm cooling down, then I have to start retouching my makeup up, then I get dressed as the next character, put it all on. So it's really non-stop. From when I get here, I come in, if it's a 7:30 show, I'll come into the theatre at about 5 o'clock, and start getting ready.
You are truly to be admired, and you're exceptional. What you do on stage is so brilliant and so crafted and a lifetime's work, and I hope you know how great it looks, because I know you're too busy doing it, but congratulations.
Well, you don't always see what it's like, because sometimes it can be a shambles backstage, and I'll say to these guys, well, that show tonight was awful. It didn't run, and you dropped that on the floor, and I hit that over, and da-da-da. But the audience they only see what they see, you see. And I mean, I've learnt from the greatest people like Stanley Baxter and Danny La Rue and Dick Emery and all these people I loved, and I grew up on Are You Being Served and the Carry On films and all that, and I learnt from those guys, you see. You
truly are a genius. Thank you so much. Good luck with Pantomime. He's coming to Northampton. You're on tour, Fit for a Queen, through the autumn. Your website?
Just go to www.ceridupree.com, or you can go on Twitter, follow me on Twitter, or you can go onto my Facebook wall and leave a comment, whatever.
Really, congratulations. Thank you so much.
Thank you.